Almost every goal-setting system that you've ever learned is broken. I might have found the one that can help you reach every goal of yours. And today I'm going to show you how to program your mind to finally get what you want. So let's be honest, most of the people suck at setting goals. And it's not even your fault. It's because the entire system that you have been taught to set a goal, the entire goal setting system that you've been taught, it's basically broken because it doesn't use as the part of your brain that actually literally makes decisions and runs your entire life. The limbic system and your brain system. This is a goal setting system that has been set by a behavioral expert called Chase Hughes, and this is actually his. This is Neurocognitive Intelligence Goal Setting System, NCI. So let's get on with it. Let me show you why this is the one you need, why this is the most powerful thing that you're going to ever do to reach your goals. So the first step that you should do, describe the ideal perfect outcome with totally vivid details and measurable elements that allow you to know when you have arrived. This is like plotting a desired destination on a GPS, on Google Maps, or whatever you use. It's the address, it's the latitude and longitude of your destination. Then we move over to something else that many people don't do. I've seen many people do the first thing. The second thing that you should do is to write out your least desired outcome if nothing changes. Basically, if you just keep doing exactly what you have been doing all along, where will you be? So we're going to describe in very vivid detail where you're going to arrive if you continue with your current habits and behaviors and mindsets and worldview. So imagine the rest of this year. Imagine the next year that is going to come. Is it going to be harsh? Maybe. Is it necessary? Completely. So write it out. Your brain needs contrast. Our human brains love contrast. We love the hero and the devil, the good and bad, the yin and yang. We almost always need that contrast. We need something bad to be there. You need this thing. You need to know where you will be in the next years if you continue doing whatever you're doing right now. Basically, the nightmare that you're going to arrive at, you need to know it. And this is where your mind will start to crave the ideal, because staying the same basically becomes unbearable. So next, we're going to write down some milestones, habits, and new beliefs that you're going to make. Accomplishing this goal is a byproduct of all of these new traits. That's basically what it is. The goal accomplishment should always be looked at as, what can I do to make my goals a natural byproduct of how I am choosing to live my life? So what your habits, your beliefs, your worldview, what would be the byproduct of these things? How can I make my goal a byproduct of my actions? So don't focus on the goal here. Focus on the habits and beliefs that will make the goal a natural byproduct of who you are going to become. Goals are destinations. Habits and behaviors are the vehicle for you to be able to get to the goal. Next, we are going to write a very detailed and maybe even painful list of all the habits, beliefs, and behaviors that you might currently be doing that's going to make your least desired outcome come true. And this outcome will be a byproduct of those maybe negative or neutral habits that you have, those worldviews that you have, maybe neutral, maybe negative things that you have. And here's the truth about all of this. Your habits today are building one of those future outcomes, whether if it's the desired one or the nightmare. So write down all those beliefs, those behaviors or habits that you have that could potentially just drag you toward the nightmare that you wrote down earlier, and make it painful. Make it as painful, because as painful as possible, because you need to feel the cost of your inaction. You need to feel it, and that feeling is going to also drive you to move towards the ideal. Next, we have mammalian brain programming. What we have next is the mammalian brain programming and the fate formula, the fate model. So, how will you use the fate model to brainwash yourself into getting into new habits, beliefs, and worldviews and mindsets? The fate model is a system that Chase Hughes has developed to understand and use these 4 elements that would make the mammalian brain start taking action and stuff. And fate spells out focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. So with focus, how will you maintain your focus on your goal at an animal level? Because we're talking about the mammalian brain here. At the mammalian level, words don't work. So imagery, massive amounts of novelty and changes in your environment and repetition, these are very important to the mammalian brain because of the reticular formation. And whatever we repeat, the brain says, I want more of this, and it will search for more in your life. And these questions our brain is asking about the environment determine what we see. And this is where non-stop exposure to vision boards come in. You may have come across this in some teachings about the law of attraction. This is basically kind of the same thing. Writing down the thing very vividly, and this is another part which is basically the vividly thing, which you are going to repeatedly and constantly be seeing your desired things, basically. A vision board is a collection of visual images which are understandable to the mammalian brain since there is no words there, and these represent your desires basically, and your goals. And it could be in your office, it could be in your house on the TV, or in your iPad, it could be anywhere. There's even like some iPad kind of thing. They're not really iPad, they're just for images that you put in your house. I've seen them before. And this could be just a slideshow that you would create, maybe 800 or maybe 900 images on repeat, on and on and on forever, non-stop. It goes on and on. When you walk in, it's on, and when you walk out, leave it on to maximize that level of exposure. Then we have authority. How are you going to leverage authority figures and social proof to ensure that your mammalian brain knows what you're doing is good, it's allowed, and it's very powerful, basically. And then we have tribe. How can I involve my circle of friends in the achievement of all of these new habits and beliefs? Get your social circle very much involved. Make deals with them to keep you in check and bring you some accountability into the picture. And then we have emotion. The question you should ask is, how will I create emotional attachment to this future self? How can I do that? And one amazing way that you can do this is to download one of those apps or ask AI for you to do it, and to basically take a picture of yourself, give it to AI, or download one of those apps that can make you look very old, and print that picture out, print that photo out, and put it on your wall. I don't know, hang them around your office, I don't know, your house, put them in your bathroom mirror, set it as your wallpaper on your phone or on your computer. It could be anything, but just make it obvious for you to be able to see. Put it somewhere that you can see, because this is done so that you develop a very visual and mammalian understanding and relationship with your future self. Because one of the things that people don't do is to be able to prioritize their future selves over their present selves. And it's because it's really hard to imagine how it would go, and they can't see their future selves. That's why. So it's really important for us to be able to do that. This is another entry point for your vision board. The more imagery you have, the more powerful the emotion is going to start to seep into the mammalian brain, which is going to start changing your worldview and your life. The mammalian brain is where it's at, not the words that you speak and not the stuff with the human brain that we always hear about. It's the mammalian brain. The 3 highest leverage new habit to adopt is the next step. We're going to develop a deeply powerful list of the most impactful and meaningful new habits that can start and endure all the other things to happen just like dominoes. And remember, starting a habit only requires discipline for a short period of time. And once it's a new habit, basically, then you don't need that daily discipline anymore. And it's okay to start small. There doesn't need to be some massive shift right away. It might be just waking up an hour early, or buying more healthy food, or going on walks, practicing mindfulness, meditation, therapy, making more contents, building better calendars. It could be as easy as that. And now we move into the actual brainwashing formula, which spells out the word fear. And the fear stands for focus, emotion, agitation, and repetition. And with focus, the question you should ask is, how am I going to keep these habits in my daily focus where there's no way I could possibly ignore them? And with emotion, how am I going to bring these habits into an emotional realm where I'm deeply emotionally connected to them? And agitation, this is very important. How will I disrupt my environment enough so that my mammalian brain has no script to fall back on? The novelty forces my brain to pay attention. What can I do to disrupt my brain's prediction centers? I might rearrange the furniture, repaint the inside of the house, buy a new car, change up my wardrobe. It could be anything, as long as it doesn't look the same. If it looks exactly the same that it looks every single day, my brain is going to go off to the old script. And lastly, we have repetition. And this is about daily monitoring. Every single day. It might take only 30 seconds, but how am I going to ensure there is a non-stop exposure to all these things until the discipline is no longer needed and the habit is finally formed? And the next step is one of the most important, the dopamine map. We are going to develop a map of where my dopamine levels are coming from in life and assign each item a point value that totals up to 100%, 100 points. And under this, we are going to develop a more desired dopamine map, where we would like the majority of our sources of dopamine to come from. If, for example, alcohol and video games are taking up to 60% or 60 points of my dopamine points, and time with my kids is taking up to 20 points, then something is wrong. You should be very brutally honest with yourself here. Is your dopamine coming from video games, YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok? Or is it family time, or working, or creative work, or spending time with kids? This is about consciously choosing those sources of dopamine. And whatever you want to change about your life, whatever goals you want to set, remember that everything will come down to habits, beliefs, worldview, and discipline. And beliefs are the most important ones. I may talk about it more later on, about how we can change our beliefs to better suit ourselves, for it to serve us in the best way possible. And I want to remind you that you don't need anybody's permission to change your life. Nobody's but yourselves. And there's a completely different destination waiting for you over the horizon. And now is the time, now is the best time for you to set that new worldview. There's a Chinese saying, I guess, which says the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So no more drifting, no more waiting. And once you decide your goal, once you set your goal, I want you to enjoy the journey, enjoy your journey. It's your journey, so enjoy it, because it's not about just the beauty of the destination. It's also about the journey to your destination and how amazing that can be. So enjoy the journey, make the journey as amazing as you possibly can, and I want you to appreciate it and use this system to have fun. Thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate your trust, and see you in the next one.